topic for this mini training is recording military service in the PSO app. Just one more question. It's brought to you by the Post-School Outcomes team at the University of Oregon on behalf of the Oregon Department of Education. The purpose of this mini training is to highlight key information needed when recording military service in the follow-up interview for students with disabilities. Military service is competitive employment for the purpose of post-school outcomes data collection. Results in the interview attempts vary, and we often see things recorded as refused, not engaged, could not be reached. Sometimes these results are accompanied by an interviewer note, such as talk to grandfather, student joined the military and grandfather doesn't know how to reach him and can't answer any questions. Or questions do not apply to student, he enlisted in the military. Cannot reach the student, she's in the military. When comments like these are made and left as interviewer notes, there are criteria that we know the former student meets. We know they are working for pay at or above minimum wage. We know they are in a setting with others who are non-disabled. And we know they're working for an average of 20 hours a week. The only criterion we don't know is whether the former student worked for 90 days. You need to ask only one more question to determine whether they've worked for 90 days and to determine whether there is an employment outcome. You could ask, have they served for 90 days? Or when did they enlist? Or how long have they been in the service? So for example, when the grandfather says the former student joined the military, ask one more question. Has, call the student by name, served for at least 90 days? Again, the answer to this question determines whether the former student is counted as engaged under competitive employment or other employment. If the person you're interviewing is anxious to end the interview, you can simply say, thank you, we appreciate, again, call the student by name, their service, and thank you for your time. If you think the person you're interviewing will answer another question or two, you could ask, before student by name again, enlisted in the service, did they attend any school or training program? This is question number 1 in the follow-up interview protocol. If the answer is yes, go on and ask as many questions as you can that are related to those education questions. The reason for asking the education questions is because the outcome categories are hierarchical. So if the former student can be counted in higher education, that's where they should be counted. Questions about education do not apply to the student. He enlisted in the military. This response really highlights the importance of the interviewer being familiar with the protocol and what questions are asked, setting a conversational tone with the person that they're interviewing, and then listening to the answers and selecting the right answer category rather than reading that list of answer categories to the respondent and saying, which category do you belong in? If the person being interviewed doesn't know the answer to the education question, or maybe they volunteer information about the former student's military service before you even have a chance to formally start the interview, ask how long the former student has been in the service to determine that competitive employment outcome. If they've been in the service for at least 90 days, then again, you can go ahead and record competitive employment. If they've enlisted in less than 90 days, then ask a question about their education experience prior to enlisting. Since the engagement categories are hierarchical and the former student is counted in that highest category, Again, if you have the opportunity to ask the education questions, then go ahead and try. But if the respondent doesn't know or isn't willing to answer any other questions, you have all the information you need to answer the work-related questions. And if you have questions or want additional information, please be in touch. We're here to help.